It's funny. Sometimes the most common everyday words are the ones hiding the most incredible, fascinating stories. Today, we're going to unravel the secret history of one of those words, a word that ties together grammar, ancient technology, and the epic journey of a people. So let's just jump right in with the big question. We're looking at the Japanese word kane. It can mean money, it can mean metal, it can even mean a bell. Now, its origin might seem pretty straightforward, right? But the theory we're digging into today suggests its roots lie far across the sea, in ancient Korea. Okay, so the main idea we're exploring here is, let's be honest, pretty bold. The source material for this explainer argues that the Japanese word kane isn't originally Japanese at all. It claims it's a direct linguistic import, basically a piece of cultural technology that made its way over from the Korean peninsula long ago. All right, so if you're going to make a claim like that, where do you even start? Well, funny enough, this theory doesn't begin with treasure or metallurgy. It starts with something much smaller. Sound itself. It points to a set of linguistic rules that seem to connect the sounds of Korean and Japanese in a really specific way. Check this out. This is the first really key piece of evidence. On the left, you've got these Korean sentence-ending suffixes. You use gana when you're asking a question, and gane when you have a sort of eureka moment. Now look at the right. You have Japanese particles, kana and kane, that do the exact same job. The theory we're looking at says, no way that's a coincidence. This is our starting point. Okay, so how do you prove this isn't just some random fluke? Well, the whole argument really hinges on this one core idea, which the source calls the chosen law, or the initial consonant law. The concept is actually pretty simple. It's that when a word jumps from one language to another, the first consonant sound of each syllable tends to be preserved. It's kind of like the word's acoustic fingerprint, the most stable part of its identity. And boom, here's that principle laid out for us. You can see how the Korean initial G sound lines up perfectly with the Japanese ka sound. Same thing with the N sound, mapping to na or ne. That core G-N audio fingerprint, as the theory claims, stays perfectly intact. This is presented not as a maybe, but as direct evidence of one language influencing another. Right, but here's where things get really interesting. The argument doesn't just stop at grammar. It makes this huge leap, connecting these sounds to one of the most important technologies of the ancient world, metallurgy. This is the point where a simple little particle starts to tell a much bigger story about iron and industry. So the next clue zooms in on a specific sound combination, g-m. Think about it. In Korean, the word for gold or metal is gum, and a really common surname with the same root is gim. The source basically says that these sounds themselves, gum, gim, became a kind of symbol for something solid, dense, and metallic. Okay, so stick with me here, because this is the proposed journey of the word. Step 1. You have the raw material, gum or gim, representing that solid condensed metal. Step 2. You get the process, gama, which is the Korean word for the kiln where you heat that metal up. And finally, step 3, you get the finished product, kane, the useful tool or coin that comes out of that process. The sounds of the words literally seem to follow the steps of metalworking. Pretty wild, right? But let's be real. Words don't just float across the ocean on their own. People have to carry them. So, who? Who were the people that supposedly brought these words and this incredible technology from Korea to Japan? Well, the theory points to a very specific group from a legendary kingdom. We're talking about the Gaia Confederacy. This was a group of states on the southern coast of ancient Korea, and they were famous for one thing above all else. They were the absolute masters of iron. They were literally known as the Iron Kingdom. And it's from here, the source claims, that this historic migration to Japan really kicked off. And right at the heart of the Gaia Confederacy was the Gimhae Kim clan. I mean, just look at their name, Kim. It's written with the character for metal or gold. Their entire identity was wrapped up in being expert metalworkers. So the argument goes, when members of this clan migrated to Japan, they brought their most valuable assets, their name, their language, and their cutting-edge iron technology. And this is where you can see the proposed connection so clearly. The Korean clan name Gim is believed to have transformed into the Japanese root kane. And suddenly you see this kane root popping up in Japanese surnames, especially in communities known for metalworking, like Kanemura, which literally translates to metal village. It's like the clan's name became the job description. Okay, so we've got linguistic evidence and we've got a historical story. But the final piece of the puzzle presented in the source isn't in a book. It's on the map. The claim is that these migrants left their mark, literally, on the land of Japan itself. So get this, the theory suggests the actual name of the kingdom, Gaia, was just picked up and moved to Japan where it became Kaya. And it's not just a one-off. The source points to several spots across the country, from Shiga to Fukuoka, where this name appears. The argument is these aren't just random coincidences, they are signposts marking ancient settlements. And this is the detail that ties it all together. The source makes a huge point of this. These Kaya places in Japan aren't just names on a map. They are very often the exact same locations where archaeologists are digging up ancient kilns, iron tools, and other artifacts from a highly advanced metalworking culture. The name and the technology are literally found together in the same soil. All right, so let's put it all together and trace the entire path this theory lays out. It starts with a place and its people, the Gaia Iron Kingdom in Korea. Then comes the migration, where the name Gaia turns into Kaya on the Japanese map. And it all culminates in the settlement, where the craft and the clan name solidify into the common Japanese word kane for metal and money. So when you boil it all down, the theory's ultimate conclusion is pretty unambiguous. It says that Japan's word kane didn't just appear out of thin air. It's presented as a linguistic asset, one that was forged in the kilns of Gaia and carried across the sea by its master artisans. Now, whether you find this totally convincing or not, you have to admit it weaves an incredible story, connecting grammar, metallurgy, and migration. It's a powerful reminder that history isn't just found in books or ruins. Sometimes it's hiding in plain sight, encoded in the simple words we use every single day.